That was interesting.
Illustrations by Pete.
So I just finished this dry run for this live stream. I guess it's a weird thing for me because I try to have a little bit of energy when I'm talking. I try to make things a little funny, whatever. I dropped right back down to the first video I ever made. I'm trying to draw and talk to you at the same time. I'm in this monotone voice. Nothing sounds interesting. You're going to have to really be a fan of the show to make it through this one, but that's okay. I have faith in you. You are also going to learn way too much about my life and things I've done that I don't know why I even talked about some of them, but I did. I just kept rambling about nonsense. I actually didn't mention anything that I probably shouldn't have too much. Not too bad. And I didn't have to censor myself. Almost. A couple of times I almost let some words fly. I did not, though. I controlled myself. So I hope you enjoy this. This doesn't mean I'm going to do the live stream. It just means I tried to do a dry run. I think I made it through okay. We'll see. I just want to also mention I've never done a drawing, a line and wash this fast in my life. I was not even paying attention to it. I was trying to remember stories. I just went. Usually like an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours. That's how long it takes me usually. This is what, like 37 minutes or 40 minutes or something. That was way too quick. I don't think I put in all the details I wanted to. There's some of them are in the wrong spots, but you don't know because you don't know what I was doing. But not that I even knew what I was doing. I was too busy concentrating on what I was saying. So be gentle. When you put the comments down below and you say, okay, I thought this was okay, and I want you to do that. Let me know if you think this went okay or if you think don't do this. Don't just stay away from it for now. I can do that. I'll take that criticism. Just let me know down below. All right. Let's check it out. Okay, so this is going to be the dry run for the live stream. I don't know if I can do this. Can I paint and put something together while I'm talking the entire time? I have no idea. I'm going to try it and we'll see how that goes. So first, I want to start out by saying welcome and thank you for watching, and let's see if I can't mess this up. So what I'm going to do here is just something simple, a simple line and wash, something that I'm very familiar with, and hopefully be able to talk while I'm doing this. I'm already having issues. It's already going to be an issue, but that's okay. We won't worry about that right now. So there's going to be a couple of moments when I stop talking altogether because I'm concentrating on something, and that's okay. We're going to have to deal with that, how it is. Just deal with how that works out. I've been liking these eyes lately. I put eyes in things. I always tell other people to do that because it brings a point of interest into the work, and unfortunately a lot of the brush is going to be off the camera for a little while I'm changing colors and wiping off and stuff, but that's okay. We'll figure that out. But yeah, I really enjoy putting eyes in things because I think it draws attention to a certain area, and I think it looks nice. I think it just adds some interest because nothing else in the drawing actually looks like that, like it should be there. So it's just something that's nice. I figured I'd do that off the side. Hopefully I can color grade this properly. I had a little bit of issues with my camera, and hopefully everything's going to be okay. So I decided to start with one of these because I think it's the thing I'm most familiar with, and I think I can keep talking while I do this, hopefully, and that'll be okay. So like I said, there's not a whole lot that I'm going to be able to talk about except for some life experience. I'm just going to share some things that happened in my life with you, tell you some stories while I do this. Hopefully it's entertaining enough that some of you watch. Most of you have already clicked off the video. That's okay. We'll just deal with that. But for the rest of you, for the rest of the audience, let's see how many times I could put my foot in my mouth. That'll be another thing. You just go ahead and count how many times I do that. But that's okay. Don't worry about that. I'm okay with it. It's going to happen. I know it is. I might have to cut part of this out, and that's okay. But I'll try and keep most of it together. So anyway, so let's see. the first thing I wanted to talk to you about was my studio. So in the studio, it's actually a very nice studio. It's a nice office studio, whatever it is. But it's not as nice, or it's not as big. It's not as roomy as the house we rented when we first moved down here a few years ago. We were in a house that was right around the corner from here. We stayed in the same neighborhood, and we ended up renting a house. It was had a huge room over a garage, and that was something that we really liked. I enjoy that. I like their room over the garage thing. It makes it very nice. It makes it very. It was very spacious. It's a long, huge room, so you can break it up how you want. You're not really tied to anything really. But that's, I mean, it was okay. It was nice. It was really nice. The thing is, it had one window on the side that kind of had the light come in. And you could dull it down a little bit because you can just move away from it, and then you can control the lighting in the room a little bit better, which was nice. It was very nice to do that. Whereas here, I have this giant window right behind my desk, and usually you don't want to do that. You don't want to put the light source behind you because it's hard enough to control the light, which is why I'm up here at right now around it's around only 10 o'clock. Okay, it's a little bit earlier than I thought it was, but which is why I'm here at 10 o'clock at night trying to do this, because otherwise I wouldn't be able to. I would have to kind of, I can't even, it's such a huge window behind me. It's like a double. So it'd be very hard to block out all the light. You'd have to get the blackout curtains and all that kind of stuff. And I don't want to make it too dark and dreary because my wife also works a couple days from home in this room, and I don't want her to have to deal with that. So I decided I was going to just do what I had to do here at night, and then I will I'll just have to make do with it. It's fine. One day I will have a normal studio that I can use. But in the meantime, this is more than enough. It's more than I need. And it's wonderful. I actually love using this space. It's actually beautiful space. And I have no problem with that. So, there are some benefits to the studio that I have now, because I have it set up. Everything is right where I need it. And I have it fairly well set up. So, all my art supplies are to one side of me. You usually see that in the intros. They're all right next to me, and then under the desk is the computer, so I don't have to deal with that. And I have speakers and my monitor on the desk. Above it has like a little ledge, so everything's off the actual desk I'm working on. It's nice. There are many benefits to this, but for right now, I'm just talking about the lighting situation. That's what I was really concerned about at the time. Not so much. It's not bad. I can handle it. And I do all this stuff at night anyway. Not just because of the light situation. I do this at night because I actually enjoy doing this at night. And I try as best as I can to spend time with my family when everyone is awake and up and around. And I don't mind coming up here when everybody else is passed out, and I have some time to myself anyway. And it's nice. It's pretty peaceful, and I can relax a little bit as well. So far so good. We'll see how this progresses. So I also have this collection of these Funko Pop figure things. Hold on, I'll show you one. See these things? They're usually the Marvel characters. I have also have a Buddy the Elf, and I have the Narwhal, and I have a Bob Ross. So that's some other ones that I have. But I never started this collection. I think maybe one I bought. And the rest of them was bought by other people. I think my brother, the middle brother, he purchased the first one for me. It was a little green goblin. And then it just kind of, everyone just started buying them for me. Like, oh, you have a collection? I'll buy that for you. And that's the thing. Once people know that you do something, they all try and get something for you. on that thing. And sometimes that's a good thing, and sometimes that's not the best thing. But usually I don't mind if people do that because it's just something they're just trying to get something that I'm into, and I understand that. It's a lot better than when someone tries to buy me an art supply or something like that that they don't know if I want, and they buy things that I don't use. That's always a problem. So it's easier if people just, yeah, that's okay. Just get one of the Funko Pop things, that they usually ask my wife, and she knows the characters that I like, and that's good. That's a wonderful thing. She can tell them that, and they can get that for me. But it's strange. Do you have a collection that you didn't ask for, that someone just decided one day to get you, and everybody else thought, hey, that's a great idea, and then they started to get that very same thing for you? Has that ever happened to you? Because it's not bad. It's not a bad thing. I don't mind it. It's just a strange thing sometimes. It's definitely strange that someone decides that you need a collection of something, and they're going to get you something. But I guess as long as it's not like a serious hobby of yours, then that's okay. Because if it's a serious hobby of yours, how many times do you really think they're going to pick the exact right thing that you know that you need, and you've done a lot of research on the materials that you need and things, and what are the odds they're going to buy the exact thing you need? It's different if they ask you or if they figure that out, but usually people don't. They're not usually asking. They're doing something. They're just getting you something because they think it's a good idea, and that's okay. I don't have a problem with that. I just usually it's not the best thing. It's not the highest quality, or not the exact thing that you want, or it's just something that you're like, oh yeah, I didn't want that one. It was something else, but that's okay. So here's another thing I want to ask you. Are you a woods person, or are you a beach person, or do you like the mountains, and do you like lakes instead of going to the ocean? Do you like lakes instead, or what kind of person are you? I love nature in general, but a lot of times I tend to just I don't like I like the beach, but I do not like being on the beach, and that will not make any sense to most people. But I'm okay with the beach. That I do like the beach a little bit, and I like to go like at night when there's no sun beating down on my face and burning me. And even for some reason, I don't know what it is. It doesn't matter if I put sunscreen on. The beach hurts me. It always hurts me. It finds a way to attack me, and then I'm in pain for days. Like, the beach always whips my butt, and I'm out of commission for a while. So I'm not a huge fan of that sometimes. I like to be in control of my pain. So, I don't voluntarily want to do that. But I also like going in the middle of the woods sometimes. Now, when I lived in Pennsylvania, that was a difficult thing for me, because we used to hate basically where we were. We were in the middle of nowhere, and sometimes that's not a fun place to be. You want to have a little bit of civilization around you. You need to get to a store or something, and some people don't. Some people like to not get to the store, and they're just absolutely fine with not having any stores around and having to travel, at least in 45 minutes to an hour to get to a store, which is where we were. And I thought that's what we wanted, because I was just so sick of being around people, actually, and I just wanted some seclusion. But I probably should not have lived in seclusion. I probably should have taken a vacation in seclusion, and not, because especially up there, when you get, your snow dumps, like 4 feet of snow, and then you're out in the middle of nowhere, and it's not the greatest feeling in the world. You're stuck until whatever a plow comes through that is going to maybe make an effort to get you to some kind of civilization, but sometimes they don't. Sometimes they just take their time, especially if you're in a neighborhood that has a very limited amount of dues that they pay, and then for some reason people think, well, we had a lot of snow this year, we got to raise your dues because we had to plow more than usual. And then if you say no, you vote against it, then they just don't come plow your house. So that's not fun. So, but it's okay. I also like to be in the mountains, which again, we were in the Pocono Mountains up in Tennessee. I mean, in Pennsylvania. We did for a short while live in Tennessee also, but that's another story. I might get there. I might get to that today. But really, when you're in the middle of a mountain, in the middle of nowhere in the woods, then you really know what it's like to, just you're relying on people that you've never seen before to make sure that you stay alive, and that's not fun sometimes. But that's okay. So what kind of person are you? Do you like to be left alone? You like to be in the middle of nowhere? Do you like to maybe I don't know. Do you like and the lake thing? Here's the other thing. I love to be on a boat on the lake rather than being on a boat in the ocean. I'm not unless I'm on a huge ship in the ocean. That's different. But you're going to hear my chair squeak a lot because anytime I move, this thing is kind of squeaky. But I have to refill my water brush here. Anyway, so I like being on a lake on a boat in a lake, and because I like those little pontoon boats. I'm not a speed person. I have never been a speed person. I don't like to feel like I'm going fast. I've never liked roller coasters. I don't drive fast in cars. I just don't like the feeling of moving quickly. It's not for me. I like to relax a little bit. I'll take it easy. That'll be my thing. That's what I'll do. But some people, they like that, and so they like to take speedboats out on a lake or speedboats out on the ocean, and or jet skis. I've never been a jet ski person. I don't ever want to. I have no desire to ride a jet ski. Everyone's, oh, it's so fun, but it's not fun if you don't like it. It's fun if you like it. If you're one of those people that likes to do that, then I'm sure it's fun. But if you don't like to do it, how can you tell someone else they're going to have fun when it's doing something that they don't like to do? And in this particular instance, I would say that that it was the going quickly, and because you have to go quick on a jet ski, otherwise you don't get out of the water. It doesn't pull the thing up over the water, which is the way you're supposed to ride those. They're, I think they call them wave runners or whatever. But anyway, it's just not my thing. I don't like it, so I don't really do it, and that's okay. Not everybody has to do what everybody else likes to do. You can do what you like to do, and that's okay. So, right, I'm going to let some of this is dry, but I'm going to let some of it dry before I go into it with some pen, so I'm going to continue my conversation with you. When I was on Long Island, here's the thing. That's where I grew up, Long Island, New York, and everything there is sand. That's the basics of it. Is everything is you're on sand all the time, everywhere you are. So it's not just the beach; it's everywhere, and that was kind of interesting. That's something I actually did like there. I don't like to be on the beach in the sand, but I don't mind when the sand's in your yard. In our backyard, we had. Now, this is once we were in a house. We were renting a house at this point. And, I'm going to use a thicker marker for the outline. Okay. So, we had, it was some grass in the front, but the backyard, there was a lot of sand in the backyard. And there was a lot of trees. It was very heavily treed. So, what we ended up doing was you couldn't really grow grass in a lot of the sandy areas where there was just no sunshine at all. So there's so much trees there, it just didn't really get down to it. So what we ended up doing was, we had little sandbox and things like that. But you could, anywhere in the yard, which was really fun for me as a kid. Anywhere in the yard you can just dig, and you can go down and go down and go down, and you just hit sand and sand and sand. It's quite interesting. It's very fun. I really enjoyed that. As a kid, it was nice because I could take my little action figures and build little forts and huts and little trap doors and little sand dunes, and it was nice. It was fun, and that was something I could do out there. And there was one little chunk of cement out there that I had a basketball hoop on, and the reason is not because I like basketball. The reason that I had it is because basketball is a one-person sport. You can play by yourself. You can just shoot hoops all day by yourself, and that's basically how I've always rolled. It's just how I am. I do a lot of stuff by myself, and I like doing a lot of stuff by myself. And I had some friends in the neighborhood, but most of my friends growing up were women. They were girls, so they did not want to play basketball. Sometimes they did, but most part they did not. And that's just most of my neighborhood was just all girls. So those are my friends. So I get along really well with girls. I do. I always have. All through high school, all of my closest friends just about were girls. There's plenty of guys that I hung out with that were just a part of our group or whatever. But that's a whole nother story. So let me tell you about this little group that we had in school. So I'm talking about like 10th, 11th, and 12th grade. There was this group that we put together. It was like a little family, if you will. We all had our issues, we all had some troubles, and we all decided, let's just get together and help each other. Let's support each other, and we formed this little family group. And there were 4 girls at the time. Some members have switched and came in and out, but there were 4 girls and 2 guys, and myself, and then my closest friend growing up were the other guy, and he started dating this girl, and this is how this whole thing started. And while he's dating this girl, she had a best friend, and I was introduced to her. And for a very, very short couple of weeks, we also dated. But we ended up becoming friends after that. And then it was just, she was not in a romantic way at all. But I absolutely loved her. And it probably was the closest with her at some point than anyone else in my life. She became my closest friend. And I absolutely love her. And something happened. So after a while in this group, one of them was my wife's cousin. So my wife's cousin was a part of the group, and she was a part of the little family we had. And that's how I met my wife. It was at a party, and she had her come pick her up, and that's how I met her. So anyway, my wife's cousin and one of the other girls had an issue, and then this other girl who I was very close with ended up being very close with this other girl who had a problem with my wife's cousin. So there was an issue there. Some things happened, and then what ended up happening was I was dating my wife now, and they had just graduated. They were a year older than me, so they were out of the school. And then I started dating my wife, who's 2 years older than me, so she's been out for quite a while. And she was in college at the time. And then my wife's friend had a bowling ball, and one of those girls had that bowling ball and decided to put it through the back windshield of my wife's Camaro, the one that I was talking about in one of the other episodes. And that kind of made a drift. I mean, you just, at the time we were engaged, so I know I was in high school and engaged, and everyone thinks that that's real weird and crazy, but we were engaged. And so now you took my fiance, you put a bowling ball through her back windshield, and now we have a problem, not because I wanted one, but because we have one. It's just, I you can't ignore that, and that kind of had a big rift between us, and we stopped talking, and that was terrible because, like I said, absolutely one of my closest friends. I would love to have kept in contact with her all these years, and kept a good relationship with her, and just she was there for me for so many different things, and really helped me out at certain points in my life. So, but things happen, and that's a part of life. So I talk with my hands. I stopped drawing to do this while I'm talking. It's a pain. What a oh see I'm almost slipping up on some words too, and I'm gonna start having to censor myself. So anyway, um, that's something I've always wanted to ask other people. Did you have that weird, like little family in school that was just kind of like a group of you got together and you started taking care of each other if you had an issue at home or whatever the case is? I don't need to know any of your details. Um, but did you experience that? Did you have that kind of relationship with anyone that was at your school? And our school was pretty big. We had about 3,000 people, I think it was, in the school. There was in 10th, 11th, and 12th. There was 1,000 in each grade, roughly. It was a pretty decent sized school. And I don't know. It was one of the keys to surviving in any kind of situation is to be a nice person, and that's just a tip for anybody. If you're a nice person, you'll survive because they always say nice guys finish last, and that's not the case. When you're a nice person, you don't finish last. As a matter of fact, everyone respects you a lot more. That's all people really want is respect. That's all they really want. And if you show them that respect, they will also show you respect. And so we had a lot of different groups. We had everything from, we had some gangs. There were certain gangs from different areas in the school. There were the freaks. There were the skaters. There were the skinheads. There were the jocks, of course, the preps, the nerds, all of them. So there are all these different groups, and I had friends in every single one of them. I made friends throughout school in every single one of them, and because of that, I really was never bothered. Once I hit probably ninth grade, 10th grade, somewhere around there, ninth grade, 10th grade, no one bothered me, ever. Because, people always have issues with someone in school, but I didn't have that issue because I had friends in every group. And so if anyone would start something, there would be someone that would walk over them and say, hey, look, don't bother this guy because he's cool with me. So that was a fun time. And I usually hung out mostly with the freaks, and we were a special group. And no, my goodness. One of the things because you're a nice person and you get along with everybody, this one girl that I was talking to you about that was my very close friend, she knew all the security guards. And so I got to know all the security guards. And that meant that, and don't ever do this, if you're a child listening to me, don't ever do this. But I was able to make friends with all the security guards, and we had a chain link fence going around the entire property for the school. Couldn't get in or out except for through a guard shack through the entrance. There's one entrance, one exit, and I made friends enough that I was able to know who was working at what time, and what was the best way to get out and go into the woods and do things that I probably shouldn't have been doing. And on the other side of the woods was a friend of mine. It was his house, and he had already dropped out of school in his, he had about half of his junior year done. So in 11th grade, he dropped out, and I would go hang out with him. And I'd go skip out, and I'd say, hey, one of the security guards' name was Al. And I say, hey, Al, I'm heading out. I'll be back. And yeah, okay, no problem. And that's not a good thing. I'm just saying, but because you're a nice person and you make friends with all these people, they tend to respect you. And so you don't have to worry a whole lot about things. You can get away with some things. I knew okay, this is the exit I have to go out of to make sure that I don't run into any teachers, and I know that this security guard's working this spot, and I could do that. And you should never do that. It was stupid. I was a dumb kid, but at the same time, I was going through a lot of things, so that really wasn't what was on my mind. School was the least of my issues when I was going to school and when I was that age. So, um, and that's a story for a whole entirely another time. That's a little bit more personal, um, but I had a good time with these people. They were great friends, and we had a blast. It was just a fun time all the way around, and a lot of things that I still, of course, music plays a big part in everyone's life, and every once in a while I'll hear that songs that just remind me of those times with those people who I wish I stayed in contact with more of them. I still talk to one, two, three, uh, yeah, three of them, um, and then the other two not so much. But that's okay. That's what happens in life. Maybe one day, maybe one day, it'll all come back around. So, anyway, so I'd like to know: do you have that? Have you ever had that? Do you have those groups in school that are like these people are looking out for you? They're your family basically, and well, I mean, not everybody has that need. We filled a need for each other. We filled that, we can depend on each other kind of need, and there was something that was real for all of us. So uh, we had we had a fun time with it though. Have I told you too much already? Do you know way too much about my life now? No, it's okay. One day I might write a book. It'd be a very funny book, I hope. There's some weird things. So, I want to talk to you a little bit about YouTube. I do, because I think that artists, I think we can all benefit from YouTube. I think Instagram has shut down. I don't think that's a place for people anymore. It's really, I mean, not for artists to post pictures and photographs of their art. Unless you do the stories and that kind of stuff. If you do that kind of thing, then I get it. But, I was on there since 2015, I think. And I only had like a couple hundred followers, and I don't know what I have now. I haven't been on there in a very long time. I was only going on there for a while to support other people who were on there, other artists. And I just got so tired of the ads and every time I would scroll through my subscription list to see what people were doing, I would just get inundated with, oh, well, you like this person's art, so you must like this person's art. And it was, no, not really. But every time it was showing me something, it wasn't showing me art. It was showing me like Instagram reels or something of something. And I just wasn't, that's not what I was there for. I was there to look at art. That's all I was there to do, not anything else. So there's other places for everything else. And that's what I was trying to do then. But I don't know. Are you still, is anyone on Instagram anymore? Do you still go do that? I think it's kind of died out for me. It definitely lost my interest most of the way. So I don't know. I don't even know how this is going. I haven't really been paying attention to this. I've been trying to remember the stories and not just doing random things, but that's okay. That's just a part of it too. So I might have a sore throat tomorrow. This is a lot of talking just on nonstop, and I don't do this in real life. If you saw me in real life, you'd be hard pressed to pull 3 sentences out of me. I'm trying to talk as much as I can to keep people entertained while they're watching this disaster, but I've been enjoying these types of paintings lately, these types of line and wash things. I don't know why. I've decided that I like doing this. So I've been doing it a lot more. And I don't know. I think it's something very interesting for me to latch onto, because it's something I don't really see many people do. So I kind of feel like it's my own thing. But I wish I did see more people do this, because I like these kinds of things. And I think that overall, I think that they're interesting to look at. I don't think that they're too saturated. There's not a whole lot of people doing this. So oh, do you like this kind of stuff? Am I just wasting my time doing this? Is there not a lot of people that like watching this? It's definitely different than, watching someone paint a landscape or something like that, which I also love to do. I actually do a lot of landscape painting, a lot of trees and nature painting and that kind of stuff. I just don't do it on YouTube. But I do a lot of it. So let me see how this is. I think it's going okay. Let's see where I am here. What other kind of things I want to add, if anything. Oh, that tore up some of that paper. That's not good. Well, it's interesting. I don't know if I don't know. It wasn't exactly what I was looking for when I was going to start drawing, but I guess that's a part of it. That's a part of the abstract thing. It can just develop into something. It doesn't have to be anything. It can be whatever you want it to be. But I think that's going to be about it for me. So what did you think? Was this okay? Was that alright? I told you a bunch of stories about my life. Way too much about my life. And hopefully some of it was entertaining, some of it was interesting. It's different. I have a completely different voice when I'm trying to do something and do this, versus whether I can just do the painting first, speed it up, and then talk to you, because then I can emphasize my words a little bit more, put a little spin on it, make it a little bit more funny. This is just me talking, just very monotone talking while I do art. I hope that was okay. I hope you enjoyed it. Thumb up the video if you have any of those things that I even said. I don't even remember everything I was talking about. I don't know anything, actually, except I was talking about school for some reason. I've been out of school for, like 25 years or so, but that's okay. Those are memories from your childhood. That's what happens. So anyway, that's about it for me. I'm going to go. I'll see you in the next one.